SEO, because it's so new and almost as seen as a black magic type of industry, people shun away from it, and
Totally.
they don't want anything to do with it. So they consider SEO as SEO thing. They don't, and even with the terminology, I still to this day hear people use phrases like SEO keywords, not keywords, SEO keywords, right? So saying
Hmm.
that's an SEO issue right there. They never want to integrate. How do you go about? How would you suggest in-house or client-side SEOs liaise with different departments without having to point fingers and say this issue was caused by the development, the dev
Mm.
department, so it's their issue? Because it creates a lot of resentment. And I think as SEOs, we're the ones who need to lead. But coming back to what you mentioned earlier, soft skills is not where it should be as an industry. So how would you go about navigating that?
Sure. And I do want to say, I think the soft skills will come as we mature as a profession.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think that's just something that comes with being so young
Yeah.
as an industry.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that actually, so this is a pretty common question that pops up in the women in tech SEO community. And so I love this conversation. And I'm going to share a success story of one of them, Annette Pohl, who works in-house for a company in Germany. She started doing, she had to go to her managers and get approval, but she started doing little like SEO Q&As and almost like a masterclass for the
Right.
different departments in her company. And she has seen such success from that. Like she'll get in and just like really be celebrating on she's been able to get things done because of those. So I think that's actually a great idea. So shout out to Annette. It's a fantastic strategy. That I think it's really about, like I say, go to those higher ups, get the approval. And if you can get like 30 minutes in front of the engineering team or in front of the product team once a quarter, then that gives you an opportunity to say like, hey, this is why this matters to you. Because I think a lot of times, and I've taught some courses for clients doing things like this. And a lot of times what happens is, like with engineers, they just didn't even realize what SEO was producing. And it's like,
Right.
hey, it's only like generating 80% of the revenue. So you know what paycheck you've got? It's important, right? So obviously there's much more tactful ways to bring that up. But and also there's a lot of times I find that when, like I say, when you link it back to what is that goal for that larger department? So, and figuring out where you can help. So this is actually one of the things I really love to do. Like when working with product teams, there's a lot of times where I like to spend time showing them how like, hey, yeah, we do all this keyword research and it probably looks really boring and mundane and da 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 da. But also, did you know that I can use keyword research to help inform your product roadmap, to help you identify features that customers are looking for or that competitors customers are looking for to grab that business? Because right, what is product wanting to do? They're wanting to add on to their roadmap. They're wanting to have the best in class offering, whatever it is. There's probably a goal that they have. And when you show that, hey, we can actually work together, I find people get a lot more invested. And I think that's kind of like a personal goal of mine is really educating companies on how SEO and really a lot of the research that we do can be applied to so many areas of your business.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that's really cool because basically at the end of the day, keyword research is trillions of data points of consumer intent, and it's mostly free, right? There are, of course, paid tools and things like that, but and you still have to like weigh trends and what's going on in social media, and it's not flawless, right? But when you're looking at marketing research, it's usually like a 6-month to 12-month project. It's at least 6 digits in the cost. Meanwhile, you could do like $10,000 of keyword research and figure out like, oh, we want, I think one of my favorites was we had a mortgage company who was like, we want to grow to look like these X, Y, and Z competitors. And so we used keyword research, and then we also did some things like looking on LinkedIn and trying to figure out how large their competitors' marketing departments were to be like, hey, you guys want to grow to this? They have 300 marketing employees. You have 40. There's a gap,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So just using those kinds of techniques, that's something that when talking with those other departments, I have found that when I offer up some of that information, and it usually only takes like a few hours to find some nuggets.
Yeah.
Then that's usually a way for you to get in and really start talking about what is the value of SEO for them. They get a little bit more bought in. And then, you know, as you need their help to execute things, they suddenly understand that there is real value in this channel. It is not just a cost center like an advertising channel or, you know, any kind of out of home costs. Mm-hmm. There's some real gems in there and something that can actually be useful for them.
Yeah. That's why.
So hopefully that answers your question. That was very long and winded.
No, that was beautiful because it's something that I advocate for all the time because it takes more than SEOs to actually make SEO a success, and I think it's down to SEOs to demystify SEO for non-SEOs and have their awareness of SEO reach a certain level where they are comfortable. Not creating issues inadvertently, I should say, for SEO. Because by the time, let's say a tech audit, by the time an SEO does a tech audit, the issue's already occurred and it's already a problem. Ideally, if you can reach a point where you're preventing an issue from happening, and I know a number of brands who now very purposefully focus on this approach, a preventative approach. Mm-hmm. By the time you get to that approach, you have a streamlined approach of marketing, and not just marketing, because I think SEO is more than a marketing channel. Like you just mentioned, you can use it for research. It's a development channel as well. And the earlier you can buy in, invest in, and also manage SEO, the better off you'll be. As long as you have a website, as I like to say, that's an acquisition-based site, you need SEO, whether it's for a preventative course or to actually get more traffic. It's something that's needed. So to treat it as a marketing channel, and sometimes as the last stop within the marketing channel, is it's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate.
I would agree. Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I do love kind of the shift that's happening in the industry right now where SEO is starting to become treated more like product as opposed to marketing. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, I will say most of the times that we do have clients where we are part of the QA process, like you say, of like, can we prevent this from going live? But the majority of the time that has happened, I'm trying to think if there are any exceptions, and I can't think of any right now. That brand or that team or an engineering manager, somebody has had an experience where they didn't tell the SEO team about something, or there was no SEO QA, and so things went live, and unfortunately a lot of things broke and traffic tanked. It's like I do have one client. We are now in every single QA ticket. We are part of the QA process. And that's because at some point last year, they accidentally introduced a bunch of duplicate subdomains.
Nice.
And I was like, guys, you have to tell me before you do this. Yeah. So like I say, it's unfortunate. I think there's going to be a little bit of a learning curve before that's considered the norm. But thankfully, we are starting to see brands recognize that, and then also people from those brands recognize it and are going other places. So correct. I think everybody's got that SEO horror story if you're in QA.
Yeah, it's once you get burned with SEO, you get to a point where you're thinking prevention, and unfortunately, besides the whole algorithm updates, there's a huge chunk of what happens to one's website that's controlled by the people that manage the website, i.e. the people within the business. So it makes sense that everyone involved with the website has a certain level of awareness of SEO.